Take two. Hello, I am Keishan, your human resource. I help people see the possibilities in what they think is impossible. I am disrupting HR, disrupting leadership, and disrupting you. Today, we are going to be talking about leadership. As a leader, do you lead with vinegar or honey? What type of leader are you? And we're talking about effective leadership. Again, I quit my job, wrote a book, and since that time, I have had the opportunity to reflect on what leadership is. What is leadership? Now, there are different types of leaders. You can be a leader in your home, you can be a leader leading a department, you can be an entrepreneur, you can be the leader of an organization. And the indicators or the metrics of a good leader is minimal turnover. People are valued when they come to work. They feel valued because they tell you, and your business grows. Believe it or not, people don't realize that effective leadership is also an indicator of growth, organizational growth. People could be in an organization, you have employees, and if you're stagnant in your finances, or if your finances are tanking gradually on a downturn, that can be an indicator that some changes need to take place. It could be a change with your systems. It could be a change with you as the leader. I always refer to John Maxwell's law of the lid. And the law of the lid is simply this: as the leader of your organization is only going to grow as much as you grow. So if you are a leader in an organization, in a department, and if your numbers are not increasing, if you are not growing, that's an indicator that you have something to do. What are you feeding into yourself? What are you depositing into yourself? What investments are you making in yourself? Because maybe the investments that you expect other people to make in the organization that you run or the department that you run are not indicative of what you are doing. And kids are good for saying this. They'll say, well, you don't do it. Well, why aren't you doing it? And that should be a red flag to you, or at least an aha moment. Wait a minute, maybe I do need to take stock in myself and make sure that what I'm putting into myself and expecting for others is the same. So again, let's talk about the honey and the vinegar scenario. And we've heard it growing up. You get more bees with honey. What does that mean? And I didn't get it when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I get it. How do you get more bees? The bees are representative or an indicator of staff, of the successes within the organization. So if you are putting out vinegar, everything is condescending or not encouraging, or you look and nitpick everything, you find everything wrong with the person, either what they did, with the department, with whatever they're responsible for, that is vinegar. Or if you are the type of leader, you are in an organization where every time somebody brings something to you, they have great ideas. And I've been in organizations that encourage you to bring your ideas, but then they don't do anything with it in front of you, but then take it for themselves and present it as if this was their idea. That's another form of vinegar. Then you have departments or leaders in organizations, and they are unwilling to change. You may have a great idea. And the one thing, now I'm a firm believer that if the system works and it's producing consistently, then maybe you don't change it. But if you run up against well, we've always done it that way, and you hear that consistently, that would be another indicator of vinegar. So how do you change that vinegar into honey? And this is, I talked about this a couple of times ago, a couple of episodes ago. The honey in an organization, or you as the leader, produce honey when you listen and hear to what staff is saying. So if you are encouraging them to come to you, first of all, you have to create an environment that is inviting. Don't be standoffish if you have staff coming to you, or, and I've had people do this, well, I can't talk right now. And that's okay if you're busy. But if you say, well, let's meet at another time or let's schedule something, then be true to your word. Don't schedule something or conveniently not have the meeting because something else came up, because then you're reverting back to the vinegar. You did not pay attention to that employee. You did not listen to them. They did not feel valued. I'm speaking from experience. Another way to produce honey, since we're talking about bees, another way to produce honey is when you listen to them, you hear them, and you validate what they said. And then that's not saying you agree with what they said. What it means is, okay, and just in prayer today, I was reading, and you know, God sometimes will answer you yes, he may answer you no, or not yet. And the not yet, maybe that's the situation with your staff. Maybe you don't respond right away because maybe there are some other variables that need to be considered. Maybe you need to talk to another department. Maybe you need to consult with somebody else before you make a decision. And if that's the case, the second way to be the honey or produce honey when you're in an organization is to make sure that you keep your word. If you need to follow up with somebody, then follow up. And whatever the answer is, be open. It's called open communication. That's not always the case, because leaders, in my experience, not all leaders, there are some really good leaders who value their employees. They want to hear what they have to say, and they make changes. Believe it or not, a lot of suggestions that employees make, since they're the ones who may be on the front line of whatever's happening, those are really the successful ones, because they can tell you how efficient they're working or what resources they need in order to continue to do what they're doing within the organization. So listening to the employees that are doing the work is always a good idea. Think about it from this standpoint. If you have not done the work and you don't know what changes have happened within the dynamics of the work, how can you rightfully and with all of the knowledge make a decision on whether or not the work is being done effectively? You can't. So I'm going to wrap it up with this. We're talking about bees and honey. Are you a leader who leads with honey, or are you a leader who leads with vinegar? And the vinegar is going to be the decrease in production, or maybe even the profits or the revenue within the organization. And of course, the honey is the sweet spot. Everybody wants to get that sweet spot. And the sweet spot is listening to your employees, being empathetic, even if you disagree, or even if what they say has been tested and it doesn't work. The best and most effective way of communicating is to be open. And the more open you are with staff, the better. And that creates an environment that is conducive for synergy. So that is all that I have to share. If you are a leader, leading your own organization, leading your household, leading a department, you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is, think about the bees. Who are the bees within your organization? Are the bees clients that you're looking to get? Are bees literally employees that you are responsible for? Or are the bees something else? So lead with honey, because that literally is your sweet spot, and not the vinegar. That is all that I have to share. Again, my name is Keishan. I am your human resource. I help people see the possibilities in what they think is impossible. I am disrupting HR. I am disrupting leadership. And I hope that this disrupted you. Until next time, take care. God bless.